Hi, my name is Rachel Ralston,
And I'm Eliana Cross.
and the title of our project is Stereotypes Perpetuated by Barbie.
Hello, my name is Gigi Durham. I'm in an elementary school classroom in Iowa, standing in front of a room full of lively and diverse sixth graders. As part of my presentation, I'm going to ask them, what does the perfect girl look like?
Skinny, blonde, long thing left, young, pretty. She'll look like Barbie.
I get the same answer every time I ask this question. In my college level classes, when I talk to my friends as preschool children, over and over again, Barbie is the answer they come up with.
Thank you, Ms. Durham, for opening up your classroom to us here at Newsday. Right now, I'm standing outside Toys R Us where thousands of Barbies are being bought. Christmas is always the busiest time of the year, especially for toy makers. But research has shown that Barbie is the most frequently requested Christmas gift from girls. Stay with us as we'll be right back in just a moment with more Barbie news. But first, let's cross back to the classroom at Iowa Elementary.
So, class, what is everyone hoping to get for Christmas? What do you want? You?
I want another Barbie. I want a new Barbie. I want a new Barbie.
Really? All of you? Do you students know the story of how Barbie was created? Well then, let me tell you, a long time ago, in the 1950s, there was a woman named Ruth Handler. And while watching her daughter, who wasn't much younger than you, play with paper dolls, Mrs. Handler felt the inspiration to create a 3D doll for her daughter, Barbara, to play with.
Our sources tell us that in the 1950s, little girls used to play with paper dolls, which were 2D flat cutouts of young adult-aged women. Alternatively, they had dolls that resembled babies so that they could pretend to be their mother. What I can tell you is that up until this point in history, there had never been an adult-looking doll for girls to play with.
What was that? Why did Ruth Handler make Barbie look the way she does? Great question. Mrs. Handler wanted to design a doll that looked older than the other dolls at the time, so that girls, like her daughter, could be inspired by it. She aimed to produce a new product that would encourage children to use their imagination, which she believed playing with an adult figure would do.
Thank you, Ms. Durham, for that information. We now have more on the Ruth Handler story. In 1994, Ruth Handler stated in her autobiography, "My whole philosophy of Barbie was that through the doll, the little girl could be anything she wanted to be. Barbie always represented the fact that a woman has choices." Barbie is now 61 years old, and when she was first released in 1959, the Handlers company Mattel brought a whole new style to the doll world. But not everybody was impressed with the underlying messages she communicated.
Students, I know that all of you love Barbie, but what you might not know is that over the years, since she was released, not everyone has felt the same way as you.
Really? What?
Although Barbie was an affordable toy for girls to play with and was instantly popular, it didn't take long before she received criticism for what messages her unnatural body figure was projecting upon impressionable young girls.
What do you mean, miss?
Well, moms and dads were worried that Barbie's body was too mature for their daughters and questioned what her body proportions communicated to them.
Despite Barbie's popularity amongst children, informed sources say that controversy arose from parents all over the world. Not only was there negative feedback about the size of Barbie's waistline, but they were also concerned that she supported negative stereotypes aimed at girls. Ruth Handler states that she created Barbie to express that girls didn't fit into a stereotype. But in a shocking instance, when Barbie took the occupation as a computer programmer, it seemed all she communicated was the need for help from the male dolls to complete any task. Back to you, Durham.
I have a question for you. How does this Barbie make you feel about yourself when you play with her? Mattel states, when a girl plays with Barbie, she imagines everything she can become. You can be anything. Although this quote was supposed to inspire and show that girls have endless possibilities and are able to do anything, in 1994, Mattel released a doll that said, "Math class is tough." This quote got a lot of attention and was accused of promoting the stereotype of girls being unintelligent and bad at math. So how does that make you feel?
In the wake of that unsettling evidence, we can also report that Mattel had stated that its intentions for the Barbie doll were to inspire and encourage young girls. Unfortunately, as the story unravels, we have evidence to suggest that the purchase of the Barbie doll has led to many self-esteem issues as well as other controversies over the years. This may link to the 1965 Barbie doll, which came with a scale fixed on 110 pounds, 49 kilograms, and a book titled How to Lose Weight, consisting of one page which simply said, "Don't eat." In fact, if Barbie were a real person, she would only have half a liver, a few inches of intestine, she'd be crawling, unable to support herself on her unrealistically slim legs, and she wouldn't even be able to carry her head on her extremely slender neck.
What's obvious as I speak to students nowadays is just how much the Barbie craze introduced in 1959 has continued to grow year after year. After all, Barbie was the first adult-looking doll aimed at children. Girls, did you know that Barbies were first sold at $3 each? And by the end of their first year, Mattel had sold over 300,000 dolls. Following that year, Mattel sales grew and by hundreds of thousands, and Barbie dolls started to be sold everywhere. Barbies hit stores in 150 countries, and Mattel sales continue to rise dramatically.
Recapping our top story today on Barbie, who instantly became a huge hit in the toy industry. Not only did she keep up with all the latest fashion trends like Jackie Kennedy's bubble cut hairstyle, but her appearance resembled one of a young woman, which was a completely new concept at the time. Despite all the controversial topics brought up about Barbie's unnatural body, she remained the most requested toy from girls until Elsa from Frozen took the place in 2014.
Students, can you think of a reason why the sales of Barbie have been dropping in more recent years? Yes! Touchscreens, new toys, and parents being less keen on buying the doll have meant that Mattel's sales on Barbie have been dropping since 2009.
Informed sources say that from 2012 to 2014, Barbie sales have been dropping by 20%, and a survey proved that only 35% of customers had a positive response to the doll. After all the criticism Mattel received about Barbie's unnatural figure, she remained the most requested doll from girls until 2014.
Have any of you seen the newer Barbie dolls, which come in the body shapes of curvy, tall, and petite? Yeah, there's even new dolls with different colored skin, hair, and eyes too.
As expected by Mattel, these new releases have improved the sales of Barbie, but unfortunately, they haven't stopped the concerns parents are still having about the messages the doll is sending their child. Data has started coming out supporting the idea known as the Barbie syndrome, which is a desire by young girls to attain an impossible standard of beauty and look like the doll they desperately want to be like.
What do you all think of the new curvy Barbie? Yes, it has received a lot of disinterest from girls and has even been called fat or chubbier. In fact, when a group of adults interviewed a group of students just like you, it was obvious that the curvy Barbie was less loved and put to the side.
Over 60 years ago, the vice president of Mattel stated at her release, we believe we have a responsibility to girls and parents to reflect a broader view of beauty. Even though in more recent times, Mattel has tried to create more diverse and body proportional Barbies, but they had already set a standard of beauty through the original doll, which girls had become used to.
I began my presentation today asking, what does the perfect girl look like? And I found out that the newer original Barbie is what girls love and admire. And even though more realistic versions are being released, the original will always be the one they love.